Friends, welcome to DBTV. My name is John Lopes. Today we have Father Edison Fernandes with us here. Father Edison Fernandes is the fruit of Don Bosco High School, Panjim. It is with great pleasure that I say that Father Edison and myself were classmates here in Don Bosco, Panjim. Today we are here to discuss with us Father Edison's journey from a schoolboy in Don Bosco, Panjim to being a prominent father in the Salesian community. Welcome, Father Edison.
Thank you, John. Thanks.
Today we want to talk to Father about his vocation and what he has to say about for the new people who are seeking a vocation in Don Bosco. To get us into the right spirit, I would like to read some few lines. It is from the hymn, Shepherd of my soul. Shepherd of my soul, I give you full control. Wherever you may lead, I will follow. I have made the choice to listen to your voice. Wherever you may lead, I will go. Be it in a quiet pasture or by a gentle stream, the shepherd of my soul is by my side. Should I face a mighty mountain or a valley dark and deep, the shepherd of my soul will be my guide. Father Edison, you have listened to the voice and you have chosen the vocation to follow in the Lord's vineyard. Can you tell us, Father, about your initial vocation camp experience in Lonavala?
Right up to the 9th standard, it was not my, slightest intention to become a priest. I had not thought in my wildest dreams that, I would want to be a priest. But my brother, who was in the 8th standard, he was meeting Father Benedict regularly because, they were part of a group that was intending to be priests. And so he was going for a camp to Lonavala. And so when he came home and told my parents that he's going for a camp, it was more of a sibling rivalry.
Okay.
And my mother was a teacher in school, so I told my mother I would also like to go for the camp. And so my mother went and told Father Benedict that my eldest son also would like to be part of this camp. And Father Benedict told her it is a vocation camp, not a vacation camp.
Okay.
So she came back and told me that Father Benedict said this is only for those who would like to, who have this intention of being priests. So then I sent my mother the second time, and I told her to tell Father Benedict, who knows, maybe I might also have a vocation. And with that, he gave me a chance. And out of those 42 of us who went for that camp, only 2 of us became priests.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Father, would you be able to recollect and you say when did you first feel the call?
Well, of course, that calling was there, especially with regard to my brother.
Okay.
So it was, after I saw him being called, that, I felt that maybe God might be calling him. I did not hear the call distinctly. I heard it much later, I think, in my life. But, that is through discernment and all. Some people think that the call comes at a particular time. But I think the call, evolves and, you get, it either becomes clearer or it becomes, less distinct as you move on in the years. So I would say, I got some inclination and then the Lord showed me that, I'm meant for this way of life eventually. And that's why I continued. Yeah.
Okay. Father, tell us about your novitiate and later philosophate and those experiences.
So after my 12th in Lonavala, I was admitted to the novitiate, which was in Nasik. That's 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah. And Father Kasti was my superior. He worked in this place. He was the rector much before Father Benedict, and then I did 2 years of philosophy in Nasik itself, and then I was sent for studies for my master's in philosophy, And then after the masters, I did 3 years of regency. So I was again teaching philosophy to the brothers who were, to the seminarians.
Okay.
And then from there I went to Bangalore for my theological studies.
Okay.
And I was ordained in 1996 December.
Okay.
Yeah, here at the shrine.
In Bosco Panjim.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have also done counseling.
Yeah, I have a PhD in counseling psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was that, Father?
I've done it from De La Salle University in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah. It was.
Okay. Tell us something about that and your experience in Philippines and what you saw there.
This is a call within the priesthood. There is, on the one hand, you're called to the priesthood, but also call within the priesthood. Like there are some priests who are in the education field. There are some priests who are in the social field, And there are some who are also in media. Somehow, I felt deeply called to be, to be a counselor. And we didn't have any priests who were sent for studies in counseling. We had so many who have done B.Ed and MSW and stuff like that. So I had to wait for quite some time for them to, even think of, someone for studies in that line. But, now looking back, it's a very important field because we are working with youngsters and I get to do a lot of work with seminarians and young people in this field of counseling psychology. And so it's a very fulfilling apostolate.
Okay. Father, where was your first assignment?
My first assignment after priesthood was in Benauli.
Okay.
I was a vocation promoter for the Konkan province for a year and a half. So I had to, get probable vocations. I did that for a year and a half in Benauli.
Okay. And how was your experience there in Benauli?
Oh, it was nice. Also, vocation promotion was pretty tough in the sense like, I was told that you've got to get 36 to 40 boys, but it was so difficult to get even 8 or 9 boys, and then I realized that it's quality that is more important than quantity, because there are a lot of guys who leave along the way.
Okay.
So it's good that we get good vocations from good families. Yeah.
Okay. And from Benauli, then Father, where did you move on, and tell us something about your further assignments?
Then from Benauli, I went back to the Novitiate. I was in the Novitiate for 4 years, assistant novice master, and also teaching philosophy. And then after 4 years in the Novitiate, I thought for 1 year in the Philosophate again. I was posted in the Philosophate as administrator, and then I went abroad for studies. I was away for nearly 5.5 years to 6 years. Then I came back, and I was asked to teach in our university in Rome. So I taught there for 1 year, but I didn't like Rome very much, so I returned back to India. And then I was in Nasik, and now in Pune for the past 5 years.
Yeah. You played a very important role in Nasik. Father, tell us something about your work in Nasik, Father.
Nasik was basically, you get these young men who are just joining religious life. So you are involved very much in their formation and accompanying them in the first years of their religious life. They are like babies, into religious life. So it's quite a challenge also, but at the same time you have great regard and respect for these boys who join during these times. It's quite tough to join in these times, because the families are so small, and they had a pretty good life at home also. They have to leave that and come to a tough life in the seminary.
Father, what do you think about the current state of vocations in general to religious life as well as to diocesan?
Many people, say that there is paucity of vocations, I don't think there is, few vocations. What I think is the problem in the church today is that we are getting too many of the same type. Like you have 16 fish in the sea, but we are getting, just 3 varieties. So, that's the problem. So, once we open religious life and the way we live religious life to accommodate and to also to affirm and to respect all types of individuals, I think we would get many more vocations, because they would feel like they have some role they have some part to play in the church and in the congregation. I think so. People don't join when they see that there is no scope for them, or that the scope is very limited. Yeah. So the more we open up to religious life, the more we would get vocations. Yeah.
Further, some of the candidates who have gone for the vocation but are in a dilemma, what advice would you give them during their discernment process?
You mean those who have joined?
Those who have joined but are not sure whether they have a vocation or they have a call, or when they're in the discerning process, how can we assist them?
Okay. One is, when you're journeying, usually what happens when people join the priesthood, they're always wondering whether they will reach the end of the journey.
Okay.
My suggestion is, don't bother about reaching the end. You focus on each stage of formation, because if you're going to look up at the mountain and say, oh my gosh, I have to reach there, you'll never reach there. So some people, what they do is they focus on just the end of the journey, and they forget to enjoy the journeys and to grow in that journey. So that is more important than just celebrating your first mass or being ordained.
Okay.
That you be formed on that journey, because otherwise you get some people, they get ordained and then they don't know what to do. Yeah.
So when you were in Nasik, you had the role of mentoring the new.
Those who had just come in. Yeah, those who had just come in. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you feel, Father, was the success of that, or your experience there?
Sometimes it's very fulfilling when you see that some of those young men who you spend the first years of their life in religious life, they get ordained after 12 years.
Yeah.
And you get their ordination card. It's quite a moving experience, that you say, I had a hand in that fellow's vocation. And of course, it's also sad when you hear, that someone who was very good, or someone you thought was very has decided to discontinue, or has gone the wrong way or whatever. You feel sad. So there are both the ups and there are the downs also.
There is a lot of personal element in this. Is that correct?
In accompaniment,
in the discerning process, and in the candidate finally being able to decide what to do.
Yeah, there is the personal side of him. He discerns whether he is meant, but the congregation also discerns and sees if he's fit.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes he might think that he's fit, but the congregation does not, see. So discernment is a two-way thing. It's the individual discerning,
as well as the superiors,
as well as the congregation which discerns. So both these come together, and along with the grace of God, the candidate after moves ahead or decides to, discontinue.
Further, what do you think about promotion of vocation in the current state of affairs, where the social media and the current developments, they say that they have affected the candidates more and they diverted their minds. But is it also right to say that the social media can be used positively to promote vocations?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Something like this interview, you're using this forum of social media to showcase and make people aware of vocations, or the vocation to the priesthood or religious life. And I think so. There are a lot of young people who love the challenge and who still love the church. It's just that they don't find the structure, to make themselves, available. So there are a lot of young people who are volunteering. That's a big thing in the church today.
Okay.
They're volunteering for 2 years, 3 years. They're serving and then going back, or they're volunteering also as lay people, doing a lot in the church. So, like religious life, it will evolve, over 2,000 years, 3,000 years. Religious life has evolved and it will evolve. So some forms of religious life will die,
yeah,
and new ones will come, which
okay.
would also, take in social media,
okay.
and other things. Yeah.
Further, in a little bit diverting to a different way, we have today people of the Catholic faith slightly diverting and going on to a different path. What would you say of this trend, and what would you advise to arrest this trend?
One is a strong catechesis. Somehow I get a feeling that people are more ritualistic,
okay,
and religious also. Just very satisfied in giving mass and a few sacraments, but other than communion and confirmation, we don't have any catechesis post confirmation. So many people really don't have an adult faith, and really don't grow in their faith. Their faith is still very like the faith of a school going person, and so that needs to be worked on. Catechesis, which is very important, and I wish and hope that more priests could focus on that. Yeah.
Further, before concluding on the lighter side, what are your thoughts? Goa is your hometown, but you're based more in Bombay and Pune. What are your general thoughts about Goa, the general situation? And
well, Goa has always, has always been a place, where you look forward to come back. You hear a lot of nice things about Goa. You also hear a lot of not so nice things of Goa. But I'm proud to be Goan, and I must say, in our own way, we have shown a very different way of being Catholic and of being religious, which maybe the world does not understand. They take us, as very slow moving and stuff like that. But I think so. The faith is well grounded here, from what I see, and we should not feel inferior in any sense of the word here.
thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, John.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
thanks
you
very much.